Good day, I'm Stephen McHugh, and this is your JIS News for Friday, December 3, 2021. The National Housing Trust, NHT, will be providing nearly 22,000 new housing solutions over the next 2 to 3 years. Prime Minister Andrew Holness gave that guarantee on Wednesday during the handover ceremony for 110 single-story, two-bedroom duplex units developed by the NHT at Twickenham Glades, St. Catherine. He says the entity currently has 12,019 units under construction, costing upwards of $100 billion. More than 95% of these are to be affordable to low-income earners. Another 9,641 units, projected to cost $95 billion, are in the planning stage.
So for the next 2 to 3 years, right, you will have over 21,000, almost 22,000 housing solutions guaranteed to be on the market. That's not enough. It's not going to solve our problem, but it is going to take us a far way to the solutions.
Twickenham Glades was developed on 5 hectares of land located along the westbound side of Mandela Highway in Twickenham Park. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Andrew Holness has instructed the National Housing Trust to reevaluate its participation in the middle to high-income housing market. At the same time, he has directed the Trust to halt work on the second phase of the Ruthven Towers development in New Kingston. The directive follows calls to reconsider the price point of Ruthven, which has units ranging from $27.7 to $37.7 million.
I've asked them to take a second look at it to see whether or not they should proceed based upon, the construction cost and the cost of the land and the public distraction.
While giving that directive, the Prime Minister has defended the pricing of the Ruthven Towers development, pointing out that the 5-acre property costs $378.5 million due to its location in the heart of Kingston. He says the NHT has received applications for all 86 units in the development, and successful applicants will be announced shortly. On December 1, Jamaica's tourism capital, Montego Bay, welcomed its first cruise ship in more than 20 months as the sector continues to see a rebound from the effects of the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. The arrival of Carnival Cruise Line's Conquest-class cruise ship, Carnival Glory, in Montego Bay is its second since the reopening of the sector. Cruise visits have now been made in every major port of call in Jamaica, and Carnival joins Ada Cruises, MSC Cruises, and Holland America as vessels to have made stops in at least 2 Jamaican ports since the resumption of cruise shipping to the island. Portfolio Minister Edmund Bartlett says the return of cruise vessels to Montego Bay means Jamaica's tourism sector has now crossed a major threshold on its recovery drive. The sector's reopening is being managed by the Port Authority of Jamaica, the Ministry of Health, the Tourism Product Development Company, and Jamaica Vacations Limited, JAMVAC. Minister Bartlett asserts that Jamaica has been managing its COVID-19 tourism recovery much better than a lot of its international counterparts. He points out that within the resilient corridors, travelers will be able to tour facilities and participate in pre-arranged excursions designed to ensure their comfort and safety. The 3 regulatory bodies charged with oversight of the gaming industry are taking steps to strengthen the culture of integrity within their organizations. They are the Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Commission, BGLC, the Jamaica Racing Commission, JRC, and the Casino Gaming Commission, CGC. The public bodies recently hosted a training workshop for staff members to reinforce the standards of good governance and combat corruption within their organizations. The training was conducted by the Integrity Commission through its Corruption Prevention, Stakeholder Engagement and Anti-Corruption Strategy Division.
The public sector reform agenda document in Jamaica speaks to the 7 principles of public life. So we want to impart those principles, issues of accountability, how as public servants we should be accountable, how we should be open and transparent, how we should be honest, how we should embody the principles of leadership in how we execute our tasks and our responsibilities.
It is of paramount importance that our staff are fully aware and are trained on the integrity issues. I'd venture to say that the issues relating to integrity are even more important in comparison to competence.
The training covered areas such as corruption at the local and global level, corporate governance, and the management and accountability of public bodies. It also examined issues surrounding guidance on identification, avoidance, and management of conflicts of interest. as well as the role, responsibilities, and duties of public officers. And finally, the November 30, 2021 voters list has been published with a total of 1,958,708 electors. 16,592 persons were added to the list and are now eligible to vote in future elections. Electors added to the November 30 list will receive the new voter ID card with a December 31, 2031 expiry date. ID cards for these electors will become available by mid-December. Persons should collect the cards at the Electoral Office of Jamaica (EOJ) office for the constituency in which they are registered. Meanwhile, electors whose ID cards were renewed are being urged to collect them at the specified pickup location before the current card expires on December 31 this year. The EOJ says its constituency offices facilitate collection and renewal of voter ID cards Mondays to Thursdays, 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m., and on Fridays from 8:30 a.m. to 3 p.m. On 3 Saturdays in December, the 4th, 11th, and 18th, the EOJ team will distribute and renew voter ID cards from satellite sites in various communities. Electors may check the ECJ website at www.ecj.com.jm to find a list of satellite locations. The next voters list is scheduled to be published on May 31, 2022. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Stephen McHugh. Thanks for watching.